Dateline, Houston Airport, reporting for duty. So I got my journal out and I completely, I don't know, experimented with all kinds of new things on this trip. Took the X100V as opposed to my beloved XH2S and XH2 cameras. Left those at home. Just have the X100V. That's an experiment. Also totally changed up my journal. I have been writing in the same style of journal for years, and I decided to go with these little field note, 3 of these, and then I have a big, slightly larger journal as a backup, because I will probably fill all 3 of these. These are gorgeous, by the way. These little foil stamped field notes books. They're tiny. I also changed up the bags, how I'm using them in the field. I brought a fanny pack, of course, because I'm super cool. And I have my other Temba bag, which I'll have with me as well. But anyway, you know, I like to experiment. I like to change things up. And it's the same thing for the writing. So I'm just getting into this trip. It's been a very bizarre day already. Anytime you fly out of New Mexico, you never know what you're going to get. It's been very bizarre and funny. And I'm just trying to get into the swing of things for writing. The first passage was A Drive in Darkness. Albuquerque, a destiny of scattered stars across a textured landscape. This city wakes slower than others. There is more than one darkness here. The QR code readers are broken at airport parking. Quote, "We're trying something new," unquote, she says. The man in front of me has a small, twisted ponytail and a straw hat with an eagle feather. Who flies in and out of this city, a city once described as the toughest in the nation, doesn't look like anywhere else. It scares me, but I miss it already. All right, it's the first morning in Lima, and we're gonna, as you can tell, it's a bit loud. Latin cities, in my experience, are loud cities, but not in a bad way, in a good way. There's always something happening right across the, right next to my hotel in the park. They're setting up for some sort of statue unveiling. And the class doesn't start today, it starts tomorrow. So we have kind of a free day to get acclimated back to being in South America. And we're gonna walk from Barranco to Miraflores. And my wife's gotta do a couple of things here and there, and I just saw a picture I want to make, so I'm going to start making it right here. It is the second exposure of a multiple exposure with an old Chevrolet, Se Vende Chevrolet, and double exposure, just like that. This entire place has been redeveloped or developed since I was here 12 or 13 years ago. We've got some pretty stand-up paddleboarders down here. There's a really amazing swell coming in right now here. And it's breaking a few hundred yards offshore, which is really nice. I mean, there's nobody out right here, which tells me it's probably not they don't consider it a decent day. But for me, this would just be like an ultimate stand-up paddleboard or longboard wave. It would be a lot of fun. But I cannot believe how much development there's been here. They built something called the Avenida Republica, which is this road that cuts across the city, and they took all the dirt from that excavation project and they filled in huge sections along the water. And from what my friends are telling me, Lima has just really exploded as a city in that time, in a good way. And we are about to sample some Peruvian cuisine, which is arguably the best food en todo el mundo. Someone asked how Lima was, and as you can see, It's very Lima-like. And the answer is, I'm just so happy to be out on the road traveling and making pictures, and this is the day before the workshop, so it's kind of a free pass to get out and do what I want. So I'm making a couple of pictures here. Just made one with the church behind me, and I'm in the center of Miraflores, which is a really nice part of Lima. I just had some sort of chocolate thing. I just had some sort of spinach and cheese pastry at a really good panaderia. I don't even know if it was a panaderia. It might have been something else. I forget the name of it. It was incredible. It was like spinach and cheese with perfect crust around it, and then almost like a little bit of custard. Yeah, I literally broke down after I had it. I was like, I don't deserve anything remotely this good. And oh, by the way, just to make sure you guys know what kind of level of cool you're dealing with, you ready for it? You ready for it? Fanny pack. So it all comes back to this. I know I've talked about this before, and I know this. I'm pretty 100% sure I really know this. Sometimes I think I don't know this, and then I realize I do know it, and then I realize how obvious it is that this is the thing for me, is that this whole photography thing starts with light. It's always, always, always light is the first thing that sparks an emotional reaction in me. I love days like today. I've never been in Lima when the weather hasn't been like this. I've never had sun in Lima, and I don't really care because I absolutely love this light. It's like an enormous softbox over the top, which in some ways makes it not that necessary to think about the light. Then you have to just think about composition and timing, framing things up. And the birds here are insane. I finally figured out what that bird is that's making that call. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm here to teach a workshop. Hey, how's it going? I'm here to teach a workshop, and for me, this is how I look at workshop, the role and responsibilities of a workshop student. The roles and responsibilities of a workshop student, pretty simple. React to what's in front of you. You can't come in with too many preconceived notions. You can't look at too many things online before you come here or any other place and envision what it is you're going to make. The only role and responsibility of a workshop student is to react to what's in front of them, whether that's an urban environment, a landscape environment, dense, tight, loose, crazy, quiet, minimal, maximal, doesn't matter, you respond. And I think the benefit of that is that you learn to make pictures in any location possible, which is really the thing. Yesterday, I went to a ceremony that was a dedication to an Argentinian cartoon character. Yeah, I went there and I just looked at it and I said, okay, my job, cover this like I'm on assignment. Today, right behind the camera, you can't see, is another dedication. I'm in Barranco. This is like the municipal department of Barranco, and it is basically, I think what they're saying is Barranco is a city that welcomes everyone, and they have photographs printed on canvas on easels. It looks like you've got police, you've got folks from the indigenous community, you have locals, you've got military people. There's a lot of handshaking and back patting going on. Not a high attendance. Not high. Attendance, not so good. And right across the street, I kid you not, Dunkin' Donuts, KFC, and Starbucks. And that's the other thing. That is the way of the world. You can avoid those things in places, but those places are fewer and far between as we get more into the future. Westernization of the world, commercialization of the world, that's a part of it. Again, your role as a photographer, document. You don't pick and choose. You go, as the words of Russell Price, I don't take sides, I take pictures. You know those glasses you get when you go to the eye doctor and they dilate your pupils and then they give you those paper sunglasses so that you don't blind yourself when you leave the office? I just saw a guy walking down the street rocking those things, man, and he had a turquoise tie, and I was like, okay, I like it. I like the confidence. And I just saw a car, It was an old Toyota Tercel, and there was no dashboard and no firewall. It was the engine totally exposed to the driver, so it was a stick shift, a steering wheel, a void of about 2.5 feet of like wiring, and then the exposed engine. And I was like, I like that confidence too. Lima has really stepped it up, man. On a serious note, this city is so different than it was 12 years ago, and so interesting. There's so much happening here. I just shot another commencement ceremony, spent 20 minutes talking to a librarian about photo books. Tons of publishing here, tons of art. We're gonna head to Museo Larco a little bit, and I'll check back in.